A very great Wednesday morning to you. You are watching Daily Dive, where we track down and break down all of the latest trending topics of the morning and of the hour. Hopefully your day is off to a great start. I know some of you are probably counting down to Memorial Day weekend, which is almost here, and they call that the unofficial start of summer. So this morning we've got Keith Nelson and Steve Fundero joining us, and we have a lot of topics to cover this morning, one of which you see right there in the headline: doors being redesigned to stop the spread of disease. But first, Steve, Keitha, how y'all feeling this morning?
We're hanging in there. We're doing all right. Just waking up a little bit. I must admit, I think I woke up to a text message.
You said your name first, but I'll go. I can't. Is Steve talking?
Steve is talking, Keitha. You just cut him off. It's okay.
No, that's
I don't know if we. Hey, we saw this happening, didn't we? David, maybe you can let us hear a little bit in the back of your speaker so we can hear it if you'd like to. And we'll just have to deal with the delay in our ear. So, Keitha, how are you feeling? You know, Steve, we're sorry we had to cut you off.
I'm good.
Keitha, how are you feeling today?
I'm good.
I'm feeling jovial, obviously. I'm doing well. My babies are about to turn 1 in a week. I'm so excited about that. It's been a year already. Playing a
Is that not scary to you?
Party for him. Yeah, for them, yeah.
A year?
A year already.
Oh my gosh.
I put it out there. You agreed to sing Happy Birthday, Brooks, but I didn't mention this part. You're kind of wearing Mickey Mouse ears because everyone else is.
Now wait a minute. Now, Keitha, you didn't tell me that part. You just told me I was going to sing.
You'll get them. Appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. See, you guys find out things just when I do as well. Good morning to you, David. Good morning to you, Deborah, Sanisha. Hey, how you doing? Catherine, good morning to you. Heather, what's up? And then Michael. Michael, we do have a lot of energy. You know, it doesn't matter if it's at 9 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to come with the energy.
I don't think any of us has had.
So let's talk about this first story. And, you know, a lot of people talking about this. They're saying door handles, we know they carry the viruses and whatnot. They carry a lot of germs. So check out this stat that I came across that actually caught me by surprise. And it said that one germy doorknob or door handle could actually make an office sick, or more, let's say this, half an office sick in just a matter of hours. So designers, they're starting to look at some cleaner ways to open doors. And this is one of the proposed solutions that you just saw there. Now, what you're looking at right now, this is what you call a clean key, and it allows you to pull doors open without touching them. But right before this, you saw that image of a 3D printed door handle that lets you open a door with your forearm. Right there. There you see it. Yeah, it lets you open the door with your forearm. So is it time to say goodbye to these traditional door handles? You know, you can always chime in, saying a comment or using the heart reaction or the angry reaction, depending on if you say yes or no. I'll kick this thing off. I don't know if it's necessarily time to say goodbye to the traditional door handle, but I do think it's not a bad idea because, again, if the person with the virus or someone just with a common cold or whatever it may be, they come and put their hands on, they have the germs on them, well, then now people are at risk, right? What do you think about this, Steve?
I mean, of course, it's a.
Did you say Keitha or Steve?
Steve.
Which means Keitha, right? I get the idea, and I understand where you're coming from. You having to want to be innovative in this new time we're living in, figuring out new ways to improve health and safety. But I agree with you, Brooks. I'm like very hesitant about the idea of it. You know, it's a door handle. I mean, I know it's going into the office or going to the station. You open the door. Typically wash my hands shortly thereafter or just in the mix because I know it's germs. It's just a reminder, wash your hands. Of course, you always have the automatic doors. So like you always make everywhere you go, the ones that just automatically open, like when you go into public, so you don't even have to touch the door.
Keitha,
just wash your hands.
Do you kind of see it being like that as well? Or do you think, you know, more just as far as like the doorknobs and handles, it's time to keep them around, get rid of them?
Okay, I can't feed off of what Steve said because I can't hear him, but I will tell you this. I'm looking at this picture of this clean key, and that better be like a couple of cents because realistically, a lot of us already do the elbow thing.
Yeah,
right?
or like
you know how to
open it with your shoulder.
Or if you have something in your hand, or like a napkin, or your feet, if you really can get creative. So come on. Like I said, it better cost nothing, pretty much. If
you know, somebody's going to charge, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks for something like that because everybody's going to want to get their hands on one. I've always been taught, you know, like if you go in, one thing that I can't stand about public restrooms right now, this is just me being honest, I hate that so many of them are doing away with paper towels. Now, although I understand why, I don't like to be stuck on the inside of a restroom and not be able to. I mean, like if I just wash my hands, I don't want to touch this handle because trust me, some other people didn't wash their hands. Now, if these certain restaurants and stores are starting to get really creative. So if you look down, they have a thing where you can put your foot on it and pull the door that way. So it makes it a little easier. So basically, it's like a door handle, but for your foot. Call it a foot handle. But I like that idea. I think that actually makes a little more sense. And that's something that probably should come standard on doors that, you're just pulling open and everything like that. And I think it really becomes a little hectic in more of the public places than it is at home. I mean, you know what germs are in your home and you know how to take care of those. It's more of when you're on the outside of your house and kind of what that could mean for you.
Just wash your hands.
I'm cracking up at these comments folks are writing in. Yeah. Just wash your hands is what Jess said over there. Yeah. And I saw a good idea from someone else. Just said put some disinfecting wipes on right next to the door. That's a great idea as well. So if you have to touch it, you can clean up your hands right after. Just use the side of your pants. I'm not dirtying up my clothes.
No. That's something Steve would probably do. The fellas, we kind of just do whatever we want to do. Just not really Steve. Okay.
I'm saying oftentimes I find myself go like Keith said, my hands are full, so it's like I'm opening the door with my foot. There's been so many times like go to this station, you like swing your key to unlock the door, and you like open it with your foot, and you're just So either way you look at it, whatever way you try to open the door, you're going to touch something. So part of you is going to touch something, whether it's your shoe, your hand, your elbow, your knee. Then there's going to be germs on that. So like, guess what happens when you go outside, folks? There are germs. Like that's just inherent risk, right? So just keep yourself healthy and wash your hands.
If only it were that easy.
And I agree with you, Steve.
you actually heard that time, Keith, right?
Wash your hands. You know what I'm thinking? Could you imagine if payphones were still around right now?
Payphones? Oh yeah, goodness.
Wait, you remember payphones?
Yeah. I never used one, but I know what they look like. Yeah.
Wait, am I that old? What the heck?
I never used one, but goodness. I just still look at everything that's happening right now in the world, and it's just so amazing to me to see how things have changed literally in a couple of months. And people can argue back and forth about this should have been happening anyway, and it makes you wonder, had things like this had been, happening, would the results be different right now? I always wonder those different things, but I think the biggest thing is how we're going to move forward. So, restaurants, companies, businesses, your place of work, they're all trying to take the necessary precautions to make sure everybody is safe. So I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Now, here's one way that, people are talking about a face mask. So we all probably wear our face mask when we go out there, but this would be a whole new level. Researchers at MIT and Harvard are working on face masks that will light up if and when it detects the virus. So they say it could be very useful in hospital waiting rooms. It could be very useful in places like airports where you need to screen large numbers of people quickly. Research is still in the early stages, and I don't know if this is something that's going to take very long, but you're talking these masks would end up costing between $40 and $50 a pop. So I think right then and there, you lost people. People aren't paying that for a mask more than likely.
What?
That sounds very futuristic in a scary way.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a scary movie. You see someone's mask light up and they get pulled out of a line, or something.
We're gonna start fights. Man, someone's wearing a mask and then the thing lights up. People are going to point fingers. They're going to be shouting at each other. Get out of here. Why are you going out? You have the virus, blah, blah, blah. That's a recipe for a disaster. That's I think a perfect example of robots eventually taking over the world as technology gets out of hand. Man, that's oof. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I wonder, do they have it, different colors and whatnot? Does a color mean a certain thing, or is it just all, or do you get to pick it based off your fashion? Maybe you want purple today, and maybe blue tomorrow. But I think, all this contact tracing and stuff like that, we've seen Apple and Google and what they want to do to try and, notify you to your phone. Let's say if you happen to be within a certain feet from people who have tested positive for COVID-19. And people keep asking, well, what about privacy? What about privacy? Like, that's just not right. I think this mask may be a little more out there because I don't know if you can hide that at all. The cell phone, on the other hand, you had to opt into the service. So it wasn't just like you, Steve, I wake up one day and then I say, Steve, oh, I can tell if you have it or not. It's not like that. It's Steve has to agree to be a part of this service, which I don't know if the average positive person is going to do that because people are going to be looking at you crazy, right? If they find out that it's you or they know you're that close. And let's just say there are only 3 of us in the room. Well, if I don't have it, you don't have it, it must be you, the third person, right? So I don't know if people are really going to jump into something like that.
I agree. And of course, like you said, $40-$50 for a mask like that. That's
So, Keithy, your final is passing.
She's passing.
I think we're all probably on the pass on that one. Check out this graduation surprise, everybody. Karen's saying, so how do you open the door? What door? Are you talking about the bathroom?
Yeah.
Well, if I have to open up the door and let's just say there aren't any paper towels and everything like that, I probably use my pinky, honestly. I don't want to use the whole hand. And sometimes when the doors are extra heavy and you're trying and that pinky is doing everything that it can just to pull it out, you got to do what you got to do. But either way, I'd rather use one finger because then I know that's the one that I can't touch anything with right now. Or some people just keep hand sanitizer in their pockets, and I don't think that would be a bad idea. I know most of the ladies may do it because they stay prepared with everything in their purses that weigh 95 pounds. But for me, on the other hand, I may have to start putting hand sanitizer in my pocket. By the way, here's a small confession. I used to carry a brush in my pocket when I was in middle school, just in case y'all were wondering.
Middle school? You already that conceited? Oh my God.
Whoa! In the words of Little Richard, I'm not conceited, I'm just convinced. That's what he said. But look, I always used to have my brush simply because, you got to make sure. This is back when I had a lower haircut, so I used to make sure that the waves were right. I wanted the waves to be right. But maybe I'll start putting the hand sanitizer where the brush used to go in my pocket. Yeah, let's leave it at that. All right, so check out this graduation surprise that I think you all are going to absolutely love. And these never get old. This is a student out in Alabama. He receives his diploma, and look at what happens. His brother pops up on the screen and runs to, his brother and they embrace each other. And this was a huge surprise because he hadn't seen his brother in so long. But I think the best part about this is he drove 800 miles from the Air Force Base in Texas for this big moment. I never get tired of like homecomings and special moments like this because if you have had somebody, in your family that has, been deployed and, you see them and one day and then they're gone for a year or they're gone for some months and whatnot. If you're not expecting to see them and then they show up on a special day like that, that just warms my heart. And I just know that warmed this student's heart as well.
You just look at his smile. He's just completely just lit up, man. That's, like you said, Brooks, it just warms you right up. It's stuff like that you want to see in your timeline and you want to see on Facebook and Twitter in a tough time like this. It's like moments like that give you hope to keep going.
Yeah, we can never get enough of those type of stories. That's what, it's good. And I just love how when he walks up to him, he's looking like, hey, man.
He's
and
like,
then it hits him.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
my brother is here. I don't think he hit him at first because he was still shocked.
I love military surprise stories, and this one obviously it's reflecting the time we're in right now. So the first thing that came in my mind was like, what, a graduation? How's that happening? But then you take a look at the images, you see that it's pretty much an empty gym, mainly with family, likely closely friends. It looks like a small group of people, and at a time where hugs are frowned upon, it's so sweet to see that, right?
Yeah.
This young man so happy to embrace his brother. Oh, that's just awesome to see right now.
Let me just say this. Class of 2020 is definitely one of the strongest classes that I think we could all agree to say, listen, they have taken a hit. And that hit, it stings because, many of them were looking forward to so many things that we got to experience when we were graduating. And I just love how it seems like everybody in the community and everybody nationwide is coming together to make sure we salute and honor our seniors because it's not their fault. life just happened, right? So I love to see how teachers and faculty and staff and principals have kind of like stepped it up to try and make their students feel really, good, because they deserve it. I mean, they've worked very hard to get to this moment to receive their diploma. And I'll tell you this, I have like a couple of students in my choir that I lead, and they're seniors, and they're like, you know what, I'm just ready to just get my diploma. It is what it is, you know?
Aww.
But in reality, although they say that, I know that's not necessarily the case. I think they've, tried to make peace with the fact that this just isn't going to be the traditional senior year that I wanted it to be. But it's very unfortunate. So when I see things like this, it gives me some hope knowing that, people are doing everything that they can to make sure we celebrate the high school seniors, because they deserve this and so much more.
Agreed.
Yeah. Danielle says, I think the mask makes sense if you're only recommending positive, symptomatic, or mild self-quarantine and not regularly resting them to ensure they no longer have it. Lori's saying she always carries the hand sanitizer and she's more conscious of touching her face. Yes, I am the same exact way. And then Catherine saying, it's a beautiful story. God bless this wonderful senior with his sweet brother surprising him. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
that is nice.
Now here's something local before we go. We just want to mention this Creekside parade that happened for their class of 2020. Check them out. They decked out these cars, people. That's what I'm talking about. All of the seniors out there having their parade, and of course, parents and loved ones and everybody out there on the sides, and some of them in the cars, practicing social distancing on the outside for those, really just celebrating the class of 2020, those students at Creekside High School. I think even after this year, we need to keep these parades going.
Yeah, right? It's so memorable. I love it. You have to create memories for these kids, because like you said, it's a difficult time for so many of them. They're upset about missing out on the fun from their senior year, but this looks like tons of fun. So it's great that they'll have these memories and photos from these parades.
I say let's keep it, right, Steve?
I agree. I say keep it going. Why not? It kind of like reminds me of like, I don't know. I mean, because I am a youth, like I feel like maybe this was kind of how things like were done. I don't want to say back in the day, but like back in the day, like I feel like that's like what my parents were doing when they graduated high school, sitting on the top of a car, driving down the street with the balloons and everything. And everyone's hooting and hollering and, having a good time. And I feel like that it's different now, but now, as of all this pandemic stuff, like now kids are finding new ways to, celebrate. And maybe it's the old fashioned way. I don't know. So it makes me feel like it's just like almost like a throwback or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm ready for 2021 already. We got to step it up even more. We're gonna have the parades, all the virtual and traditional, and everything that you could think of. We're going hard next year, and I think we just need to leave it at that. Everybody, we thank you so much for joining us here on Daily Dive. Keith and Steve, thank you as always for making it happen. Do we have poll results by any chance? By the traditional handles, 19 of you say yes. 8 people say it's not even worth it. They say no. So as always, you can always join us here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday starting at 8 o'clock. Only here on the First Coast News page or the Good Morning Jacksonville page. Or if you follow Brooks Baptiste, you may see it on my page sometimes from time to time as well. But we thank you so much for joining us. Until we see you again, stay safe. Continue to practice social distancing. We'll see you next time.